This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Hello, this episode is brought to you by Harry Shavers. I tried to get Mason to say it, but he was too chicken. He was a big chicken. Chickens need to shave too, though.
They do not. That would be weird. Imagine trying to shave a chicken.
All right. Yeah, okay, that's true.
But if you were gonna shave a chicken and create a horrible bloody mess, the easiest razor with which to do it would be a Harry's
smooth.
razor.
It wouldn't be bloody. It would be silky smooth.
That's right.
Don't shave a chicken, though.
Don't. But if you do... No, actually, I was going to say make a video, send it to us, but don't.
Don't
do it. Don't send us a video.
Don't
even think about it. I realise now we've put the idea in your head, but don't do it.
Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies, comics, TV shows, games sometimes. Today, actually.
Oh, yeah.
My name is James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me is always my co-host, Nicholas Mason.
I'm here.
What do you think of my new intro? Just
Slightly shorter.
Slightly
Gives us time for more content.
more faffing about, I feel.
Absolutely.
Gives a bit of a leeway.
You can take a sip from that water if you want.
This is tea from my favourite mug. I know you hate this mug. It's my favourite mug, Mason. It's a double-decker bus
It's a little
mug.
double-decker bus,
It's a
yes.
gift from a student. I throw most of it out, but not this. Not true. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, is that thematically appropriate to you in any way?
Nah, it's just fun. It's a fun mug.
You didn't teach briefly in England, and they.
I did actually, but they didn't. I don't think they knew that.
All right.
Maybe they did. I don't know.
Maybe.
Who knows? I've forgotten
Maybe that's
so
because
much.
we're in a simulation.
Oh,
Maybe that's a clue. You're like, they didn't. I taught in England, but they didn't. But when I was in Melbourne, they gave me the red pill.
Mason, we've got some bad news up top.
Oh, no.
Unless, I mean, this only affects some people, I guess. We've got some bad news for a small amount of people.
Okay, then.
We're postponing the live shows that we were doing in Sydney.
That's true,
This has
yeah.
gone
Some
out to
stuff's
people
come up, so...
who've bought tickets. Basically, Andrew Levin's deadbeat dad. No. He's a great bloke. He's a top bloke. He organised some live shows in November, 5 of them for Planet Broadcasting. But because of some bunch of stuff that's happened, it's been happening with me and Claire. We're moving in November, moving house. She's got
You decided you're going to replace her teeth yourself.
That's right, exactly. It's going to be
Yeah.
a DIY job. Yeah, she's got a whole lot of dental work coming up because she smashed her front teeth out. That's a whole thing. I'm going overseas, it looks like, in a couple of weeks. So it's just it's a bloody nightmare. And we want to do it properly. So we thought we'll push it back.
We'll push it back.
Mason's still going to go, though. If you bought a ticket, he'll be in an empty venue.
That's right.
On stage. Yeah, no, so if you have bought a ticket, there's full refunds. Also, but there are some interstate shows coming up for some Planet Broadcasting shows. Filthy Casuals is doing one.
They're doing one in Sydney,
in Sydney in December, and Dougal One is also doing one in Brisbane, so they're both coming up. So if you go to the Planet Broadcasting website, there's still some stuff coming up. So yeah, sorry for all those people who bought tickets or are planning on coming. The people have been really understanding, which was good. Yeah. So it's good, isn't it, Mason? I guess.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, huh?
Great. Mason, you know what else is good?
What is good? What a
Black
segue.
Panther trailer 2
Ah,
trailer.
so good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Now, we'd love to talk about it at length, but we already talked about it at length.
There's a little video.
But I'm trying some different YouTube trailer breakdown videos because one man breaking down trailers all day, every day tends to
Drive one mad?
insane. So there's going to be a variety from
I
now
hadn't
on.
noticed.
It's definitely takes its toll, but I mean, it's not a real job, is it? So what am I complaining
It's true,
about?
yeah. You know, it also takes
Coal
a little
mining.
grave digging. Yeah. If you got a spade and you're covered in dirt, that's worse.
Yeah, but even with grave digging, you get a mate, and then you're doing half the
that's
grave
true.
digging.
That's
So
very
that's how
true.
it works, yeah.
What about before you do your little videos,
Sure.
we cover you in dirt and hand you a spade?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, then
just
you'll
to
know.
balance it out. But I'll link that below. It's like a 10 or 12 or 13 minute video where we talk about Black Panther trailer, some things you may have missed and whatever, and some
yeah.
story points.
Let me tell you, just short summary. Looks great.
Yeah.
Music's great.
Yep.
Looks like it may be a bit... It looks like it may be a bit Marvel Phase 1 in the sense that it's probably... The final battle is probably Black Panther fighting a slightly different Black Panther.
Which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah. But maybe not, though. Maybe this is because I feel like... Michael B. Jordan's character might be headed towards a redemption, maybe.
Okay,
depending on
yeah.
how many people he murders.
Yeah, right. Loki murdered a lot of people.
That's true.
And look how redemptioned he is.
He's so redemptioned. He's redemptioned up the wazoo.
Top 10 redemption
Top 10 redemptions. That's true.
Stories. Yeah.
So I potentially maybe that is towards the end of the third act, and then they team up and they fight. Maybe Claw or another
Maybe
emerging
a
villain.
different Black Panther.
Third Black Panther, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. You know what I did? And I'm not normally on board with reaction videos.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about them.
No.
But what I did do is I watched the trailer and then below is a whole bunch of reaction videos. And what I did watch is like reaction videos by like nerd channels where they're primarily African American.
Okay.
Because I'm like we've seen a million movies with guys like us. Real cool guys.
Muscular men.
Really,
just like us.
Really pasty, greasy white dudes. And I'm like, I want to see what, because this is a movie that's got a primarily African-American cast.
Yeah.
And they're the hero. They're not side characters and they're not,
I mean, I'd like a bit of diversity in my African-American movies.
It's reverse racism. But I'm like, everybody's super hyped about this. And I think that's really, I'm like, I'm on board with these. This is really good.
I think it's, if it's good, Mason,
Yes.
then it'll probably make a lot of bloody money. Is what I'm saying.
That's true, yeah.
Because that's what a movie does that's good sometimes, unless you're Blade Runner.
That's true, yeah. Then it kind of...
But sometimes bad movies make lots of money also.
Why do you think that Blade Runner hasn't done that well?
I think it's primarily because the first one didn't do super well. It's got like a big cult following and the internet loves it.
Yeah.
But people are like, I don't really remember the first one, or I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
I'll get around to it. I think that's...
Do you think maybe they should have given it a different name?
Like what? Just call it 2049? Call it Black Panther.
Yeah, call it Black Panther. That'd work. You could call it Harry and Ryan go on an adventure.
On a jaunt.
Yeah, that'd be good. But I don't know, because realistically, you don't have to have seen the first one to enjoy the second one. All the backstory is pretty much contained in a block of text at the front.
Yeah, I think it's also that kind of Tron Legacy situation where it's like, I sort of remember the first one. I'm not really going to go in on this one.
But again, with that one, you didn't have to see the first one either. You just
but it still didn't do well. Is what I'm saying.
Literally in the trailer, Tron Legacy should have been like, hey, back in the day, Jeff Bridges got sucked into a computer. Now he's back, but then he disappeared again. Where is he? That's this movie. And with Blade Runner, it should have been like Harrison Ford fought robots.
He was sucked into a computer,
and then he sucked into a computer, and then he disappeared. Where is he? What's going on? And maybe that should have, I don't know. Maybe that should have been in the trailer.
Yeah, you're right.
Some element.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe they should have. Yeah, you're right. Maybe they should have separated it more.
What if they'd advertise it with a different name, and we all went, "Is that a Blade Runner sequel?"
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they could have called it like Nexus 9 or something like that. Or,
right. I
Yeah.
don't know. Because, and I'm, you know what it also may have been? It also may have been people going, oh, Blade Runner 2049, I've never seen Blade Runner, and this looks good. I'll watch the first Blade Runner, and then I'll go into this one. And they watched, I don't know, 90 minutes of the first Blade Runner, and they're like, I don't think this sequel's for me, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, that is also that is also entirely possible.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, that's the world we live in, mate.
Sure is.
Yeah. Sometimes things aren't good. I hope this is good.
Okay, here we go.
Aquaman has finished filming. It's got a release date still of December of 21st of next year. It's good. I'm really looking forward to this.
My man.
Yeah, that's it. It's James Wan, who's we've talked about this. You okay, Mason? You weren't coughing before the show. I'm glad you've saved all your coughs up for the podcast.
Me too. I had a big little bag of safety pins. Do you think that's an issue?
I don't know. Were they unclipped?
Yeah, they were unclipped.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
But did you know, Mason, that Aquaman is releasing the same day as the Bumblebee movie?
I thought you were going to say, do you know the Aqua in Aquaman stands for water?
What?
Because he's often in the water.
Very good. Yeah, same week as the Bumblebee movie.
Which they haven't filmed anything of that, right?
I know they're filming at the moment.
Oh, right, okay.
It's got, apparently Optimus Prime is going to be in it. Haley Steinfeld
yeah, that's right.
is in it. John Cena's in it. The poor man's, but the bigger man's Mark Wahlberg.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not... If I had to pick it out of these two, it's obviously going to be Aquaman, but I don't know whether that's going to be, the way that the general audiences look at things. Yeah. Because even though the last Transformers movie made less money, it still made a depressingly large amount of
Didn't
money.
it though? That's true. Yeah, it still made most of the money.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, if people were like, listen, you can have Transformers box office, but bearing in mind it isn't as big as the previous Transformers box office. I wouldn't take it on principle. I would.
Yeah, I would almost certainly take. No, I would take it. Not almost certainly. I would certainly take it.
Yeah.
So maybe one of those movies will move anyway. Yeah,
It's true.
yeah. It's a prime release time though, because there's no Star Wars movie next December at this point.
Yeah, right.
Here's a prime release time for you, Mason.
Hello.
I've written down all my segues this week. Not true.
Oh,
No, I
I
haven't.
was going to say.
There's a new Punisher trailer.
If that had led into a fart, that would have been great. Here's a prime release date for you.
The new Punisher trailer was out. Did you see it?
I did not.
That's fine. You don't need to see it. You got to watch it anyway, right?
Yeah.
November 17th, which is also the same week as the Justice League film.
Yeah.
Which one are you going to watch?
Both?
Me too.
Be weird if we only picked one.
Yeah.
We live in a world of choices. We're allowed to watch both.
Yeah, so that's great. So good, excellent,
Yep.
all around.
In
yes.
this trailer,
Yeah.
minigun or no minigun?
Can't remember. I don't.
You'd know.
I'd remember, wouldn't I?
You'd remember if you saw one.
I don't remember then. No,
Okay.
I don't. But good. It's got a release date. I thought they were going to push it back till next year.
Yeah,
so
same.
obviously it's not happening because it is happening now.
Yeah.
That's speaking of bloody pushing things back, Mason.
Oh no, here we
bloody
go.
written that one down. This isn't normally what we talk about, but I kind of want to touch on it briefly because I think I'm going to make a video on it.
Okay, great.
But I just want to get your thoughts on it. Visceral Games, which was a gaming company who made the great game Everything or Nothing, which we did for a caravan
Yes,
of garbage.
but also Dead Space, right?
Dead Space 2, Dead Space 3, which wasn't super well received, but it was kind of, they microtransactioned it and they changed the...
Was it more or less the same game, or?
Not really. I think it was worse.
No, okay.
I played 1 and 2, which I'm not a horror...
Did you still have that weird cutter thing where
Yeah, I
you
think
could
you
cut
still have
people's
the
limbs off
yeah.
with it? Okay, great.
I played 1 and 2, and I'm not a horror horror game guy generally,
Yeah.
but they're great. They're
Yep.
really, like really interesting mechanics. And it was also one of the first games that I recall where there's no HUD, where you can see all your
Yeah, right,
all
right.
your ammo's and your health is on your suit, and
That's
you can
true,
see
yeah.
it. Yeah, it was good. And instead of aiming for the heads for the monsters, you got to dismember them.
That's true,
So you
yeah.
shoot off their head and nothing happens. But did you play it?
At your house, briefly,
Oh,
yeah.
very good. Would you have a spooky
And
time?
again, like a dutiful girlfriend, while you played it.
That also happened today when you turned up.
Yeah.
I literally said, "Watch me jump to this car."
Yeah, you did.
in the game. Yeah,
And I'm like, looks like you're having fun.
but they were working on a Star Wars game for EA,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be released next year. I thought that was the plan. It got announced in 2013, but the team has been disbanded, either let go or filtered among the company at EA. And EA have done this before. They've done this to a few other studios.
Didn't they do it? Hasn't Disney also done this exact same thing to the same person who's on this development team?
Amy Hennig was on Uncharted 4 and got pushed off that.
Wasn't she also on Star Wars 1313, the previous?
maybe she was.
I think she
You
was.
might be right,
I think
yeah.
they've done this to her twice.
So this is okay. Let me just double check that, but you
Yeah.
might be right. But she's responsible for a lot of what the first 3 Uncharted's are about.
Right,
and
yeah,
they're
okay.
terrific games. Heading Star Wars.
But yeah, so this was going to be an Uncharted style Star Wars game.
yes.
Do we know who the protagonist was, or what side you're on? Or?
There's rumors, but this is what I'm kind of put together for what was I going to say for this video? I'm thinking of, and I'm reaching out to some people for some insider information. I've got a little bit of information, but I
Yeah.
kind of want to.
Okay.
I kind of want to flesh it out a bit more. But what was your question though? I forgot because I'm sorry. I'm trying to do 2 things at once.
The 1313 thing.
13. That's right. Sorry. Let me just. That bloody. I can't see it. That's not to say that it's not.
Right, okay.
But this game did take elements of Star Wars 1313 because it's Nathan Drake, but it's Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
So this game has been pushed back indefinitely.
So cancelled.
Yeah. So I really hope not, because this is. Look, I'm really looking forward to Battlefront 2. And
Yep.
full disclosure, they're paying me to make a couple of videos, and I might be going over to play it or whatever. And if I make this video, maybe that will not happen anymore. But I really wanted to see this. Like, I've been hanging out for this kind of stuff. There hasn't been
Yeah,
a
right.
single-player Star Wars campaign game.
Since like Dark Forces 2 or
Yes,
something.
it's Dark Forces 2. I mean, there's been Lego Star Wars, there's been mobile games, there's been Battlefront
None of
1.
them count.
None of that I'm really interested in. Battlefront 2, I am 100%, I'm very interested in that. But
Yep.
this is, I've been really looking forward to this, and I'm super bummed that it's going away. Well, so the quote that they put was, this is from EA, to make a broader experience that allows for more variety and player agency, leading into the capabilities of the Frostbite engine and reimagining central elements of the game to give players a Star Wars adventure of greater depth and breadth to explore.
Doesn't make none of that means anything.
Well, from what I understand, they don't even know what direction they want to take it, and people are saying, are they going to just chock it full with loot boxes like they're doing with Battlefront 2,
now,
which they might be pulling back on?
Explain to me again what a loot box is, basically.
I'm not a gamer guy, so this is my understanding of it.
But you love Gamergate.
Yeah, I love Gamergate, big fan. But it so basically you can buy you can earn loot boxes in games, in-game through in-game currency, but you can also buy them. And then you open them up, and inside that might be like a skin or a gun or a weapon or a power-up or whatever. You can buy them, but they're also randomly generated. Okay. So you can throw in $100 and not potentially get something that you want to get. Or but also people don't like them because on certain games you can pay to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Look, on all honesty, I don't give a shit about that. If someone wants to spend $100 on a gun and then they're the best at a game, fucking good on you. Well done. It's the gambling side.
I bet they like it too, being the best at a game. Yeah,
but I'd rather
works out well for everyone.
I'd rather earn it, but also I'd rather earn it through not a loot box. I'd rather be like, I earn enough points now. Give me that weapon. Yeah. But
I would rather go in a game if I want to get a cool gun. I would like to have a mechanic that makes sense, like going into a gun shop and buying the gun or whatever.
Exactly, Mason. But the other thing is,
which I think what was the previous Battlefront?
Battlefront, yeah.
Where you turn into Darth Vader.
Yeah, you get a Darth Vader coin.
Yeah, you get a coin.
Yeah. And they fixed that because I talked about the other week. I really like the beta. Because if you want to be a hero character, you play well enough, and then you get it in game. So as you're playing, if you're doing well, now you can be Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, right.
You can get a ship or whatever. So I much prefer that. Mm-hmm. But it's the gambling side of it, I think, that's dangerous. I think, and Filthy Casuals talked about on their podcast.
Yep.
If kids are playing this game, what's the classification of the game going to be?
Exactly, because it's if there's a game and within the game the character goes to a casino or plays a slot machine, it will say parental advisory contains gambling.
Yeah. But if there's literal
gambling where you put in a credit card and you could just it's like in-app purchases and like an iPhone or something like that. If you've got your credit card in there, you can just tap a thing and all of a sudden you've paid $24.99 for something.
Exactly.
And it doesn't register because it just goes out of somebody's account.
And for me, all I want is a single player campaign.
Yeah, right.
The multiplayer stuff is kind of a bonus. I played a bit of Uncharted multiplayer, which I really liked. Yeah. Like obviously this one, but I just want a good single player story. So generally, I don't care about this stuff. Like it does because it doesn't affect me. But then I'm hearing like shit, and I've also heard that Battlefront 2 might be scaling that stuff back. Yeah, but I don't know whether that's true even because they've kind of been a bit cagey because the beta is going to change from the. So if I do get a chance to go over, I might speak to them about that. But it would probably be public knowledge by then anyway. But what was I even going to say? Yeah, the Shadow of War game. Every time you pause the game, it's like, hey, there's a loot box. Buy this thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's right there.
Yeah.
And I just think if this is the way that games are going, where they're breaking them up into segments and you got to pay to get further. Yeah. I just want solid single player story. That's all I want. But that's also not necessarily profitable because you can release a multiplayer, you could like a Destiny 2 or whatever, and people can continue to play and upgrade and keep coming back to it forever and ever. With a one-player game or just a story mission, you might only do it twice. And you're not going to pay any more. You might get some DLC down the line. You might get the figurine kind of thing at the start. But this is a way to get more money out of people and make it kind of over time. So I understand the model. And I'm not necessarily against it, but
I'm very against it, quite frankly.
Look, if you want to pay to win, I don't care. Like I don't care, but I think when I like to know what I'm getting from the outset. I want all of the content from the outset. I don't like this nickel and diming for, and also again, it speaks to this version of gaming and technology in general, where you don't own the thing that you buy anymore. That's right.
You just buy a license for it, where it's like okay, and it's like. A lot of the time when you buy a game and it's like it requires continuous on internet connectivity and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And if your internet cuts out, the game drops out.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, like Mario Run, the mobile game. Yeah, right. Which I love. Well, I don't play it anymore, but you need a constant internet connection, which is insane. Why? To what end?
Right.
Makes no sense.
Loot boxes.
I don't even know. See, and the problem, that game didn't do very well. It was like $16.
Yeah.
And but it didn't sell because people were like, that's too much. But you'll download Cookie Crunch or whatever. I don't know. Gem Diamond
Cookie
Machine.
Clipper or whatever it was, yeah.
And it's $1 a day and people don't care. So I can see why they do it because it's a way to get money out of people.
So what do you think is going to happen in the future? Do you think this nickel and diming is going to get so ingrained into people's brains that they will just keep doing it? Or do you think people will be like, I'm done with this? I think maybe the concept of it will, because people aren't necessarily getting stupider.
I think people are wising up to it. I think like this, and especially Shadow of War, people are like, enough.
Yeah.
Like I think they've pushed it right to the line. And the other problem is these games in the middle have been disappearing. Like you've got games like Cuphead, which took like 4 years to develop, and it was like a really small team. And then you got stuff like EA on the other hand. There's not a lot of stuff in the middle.
That's true.
Like every now and then, I would happily pay $30-$40, which I actually did the other day for the Uncharted expansion, Lost Legacy, to play like a 6-hour campaign.
Totally, yeah.
That's completely reasonable to me.
I always go back to like movie length. Like a movie here is $20 and it's 2 hours. Well, then I'll pay $40 for a 5-6 hour game because it's a good amount of entertainment.
Anyway, whatever. It's not really our area, but that's some things that we think.
Yeah. Got 'em. We've solved it.
Yeah. There we go. Apparently X-Men Dark Phoenix will feature the Skrulls.
Oh, what?
So apparently there's a scene that takes place in the United Nations building.
What?
There's a scene at the UN with Professor X, Magneto, Jean Grey, Cyclops in attendance discussing mutant rights.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then at some point an alien ship comes down.
According to whom?
The fan site Universo X-Men.
Oh, Universo X-Men.
Yeah, I don't normally have the source in front of me, but I do this time for some reason. That's odd.
Okay.
Man, I'm just on top of my game today.
And who does Universo X-Men say that's come from, I wonder?
I don't know. Probably some guy that we say stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true, we do, yeah. They think they're going to horn in our hot scoop or shot of poop segment. Well, they're not going to be able to.
Yeah, but
So that means, for those who don't know, Fox, the X-Men can't be used by Marvel generally in their movies because the X-Men license is owned by Fox.
Yeah.
However, Marvel have announced that one of their upcoming movies, Captain Marvel, is going to contain the shape-shifting aliens, the Skrulls.
Yes.
And the fact that they're going to appear in a Fox movie
it's a Quicksilver situation all over again.
Yeah, or deals are happening, maybe?
I think it's one of those characters that both of them have.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think also Fox owns specific Skrulls.
That's true. They would own the Super Skrull and the Power Skrull, for example.
The two good ones.
The two good Skrulls, yeah.
They sound like gaming systems. The Super
Skrull
and the Power Skrull.
And the Power Skrull. If you're more budget minded, you want the Power
classic
Skrull. Yeah, that's right.
The Skrull Mini.
Yeah, the Pocket Skrull. Skrull color.
Yeah, who do you think's going to do them better?
Marvel.
Yeah, almost certainly.
But who's going to make
But then again, Fox did Quicksilver better.
That's true, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so...
Interesting. Who's going to have the best... Because I don't really know what the Skrull shapeshifting effect is.
I don't know. It's going to be weird that they're just...
Who's going to have the better one is the question.
Well, yeah. But I just think, probably... I don't know, actually. I mean...
See, because, again, Fox had the better Quicksilver.
Yeah.
And they... I don't know if it was deliberate, but it feels like they went, okay, we have to show Marvel up here. We have to think hard and work hard on a sequence that shows
and we play hard, Mason. Yeah, it's important to balance, obviously.
And then rest hard. And then die hard.
Yes.
But then, are they a Fox property? Is Die Hard a Fox property?
Yes.
Nice.
I can Google that.
Perfect.
While you're talking, I'll Google it.
But I think they went, okay, well, we have to make a Quicksilver action sequence that shows we know this character better than Marvel does, or we have a more memorable version than Marvel does.
Yeah.
So do you think maybe they'll go the same direction of like... Okay, well, we have to have the Skrulls be more interesting and more...
Yeah, more menacing. We've got the Skrull Mini.
Yep. So we're going to have them... They're going to have a bigger bum chin, the Skrulls.
It's potentially, yeah. No, I think that there'll have to be some differentiation. Do you think this is a reaction to them knowing that Sony were going to do it? It is 20th Century Fox. Die Hard was.
Yes!
There you go. Good job.
Thank you.
Do you think it's reactionary, or do you think... Like, who can use them first?
No, because it's the Skrulls.
Yeah.
I feel.
But the Quicksilver thing was a reactionary because Fox were doing Mini Juggernaut.
Right,
That was the
right,
original
right,
plan
right.
for Days of Future Past, and then they went, no, we'll do Quicksilver also.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think they're going to use the Power Scroll
Okay.
because he has the X-Men's powers.
He certainly doesn't.
No, he does.
Oh, does.
No, he does.
No, I said does.
Oh, I see, right.
You thought I said
You're going to fix
doesn't.
that in the edit.
Yeah, I'll fix it in the edit,
Make, make me look like a real idiot.
I'll fix it to say doesn't so you don't look like an idiot.
No, thanks. You're a giver.
I am. Do you want to do the ad?
Yeah, let's do an ad.
All right, there's a bit more news, but we'll do the ad first. Here we go. Harry Shavers.
To be clear, it's because we love ads more than news.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not because we're being paid to do this ad.
We're thinking of whittling down to the show to doing four or five ad segments and then one bit of news.
Yeah, sure. Mhm.
Yeah.
And that news is about what ads we're going to do next week. The rumours that the Weekly Planet's going to do a Harry Shaver ad because they love the smooth shave of a Harry Shaver.
Stick that on your bloody website, on your scoop site.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah, they're good. Don't shave a chicken. But obviously,
Nah.
But what Harry Shavers are all about, they do a great shave at a fair price. So much so that 3 million people have switched over to Harry's. Jeff and Andy Mason, they were two ordinary guys who were fed up with buying overpriced razors to shave their chickens. Mm-hmm, I'm gonna stop saying that.
Okay, good.
There's no chicken shaving associated with this brand. And so what they did, they bought a German factory with over 100 years of blade making experience to ensure the highest quality. And they offer their blades at a very reasonable price and sell them directly to you to cut out the consumer. You can get a free trial.
We're the consumer.
Sorry, to
They're
cut
not
out
cutting
the
out the
middleman.
consumer.
It's just a factory and nobody's allowed to.
Look, Jeff and Andy decided the problem. You know how you're at work and you're like, oh, this job would be pretty good if it weren't for the customers. Well, that's what they decided to finally put an end to that. No customers. They just make fine quality products and they stare at them in a factory.
The dream.
Yeah, that's right. And then somebody was like, hey, why don't you sell these? And they went, oh, okay.
All right, we will.
We'll sell them to the middleman.
Yeah, that's
No,
right.
no, stop. You're doing it wrong. Jeff and Andy, come on, guys.
Come on. Anyway, they got it together so much so that you can get a free trial set valued at $13 when you sign up and you just cover the $3 worth of shipping. And it's great. Lasts for ages. There's a weighted ergonomic razor handle.
Very good.
5 precision engineered blades with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade.
Whooshing!
Rich lathering shave gel. And a travel blade cover.
Clickety click.
Very good. If you go to harrys.com/weeklyplanet, you can get all that right now. That's harrys.com/weeklyplanet. You know what? I actually got an offer from another razor company.
Yes.
This is true.
Uh-huh.
My YouTube channel it was a promotion for a big movie coming out associated with a shaving brand. And I was like, can't do it. I'm already a bloody associated, mate. Quite frankly, your razors are inferior.
Wow.
Is what I didn't say that. I said no, thank you. I appreciate it.
And then, do you know what happened?
Yeah.
You didn't see this, right? But you put the phone down.
I might have turned down a lot of money. I'm just thinking about
You put the phone down, and then the guy at the other end of the line is like, this guy's all right. He puts the phone down. And it's Jeff and also Andy from Harry Shavers.
That's it.
In a trench coat. That's how they take the call. They're in disguise.
They're an odd couple, but they make it work, don't
Wait,
they?
who's Harry then?
I don't know. I think it's just like, it's a good name.
It is a good name,
It's like
yeah.
you associate it with the brand. Because maybe they couldn't decide. They were like, well, we're calling it Jeff.
Yeah.
No, what could you call it Andy?
Okay, then we'll name it after the name that's in exactly the middle of our names. When you combine the two names, you get Harry's.
Correct.
Okay, Jeff. Good. You're the thinker of the group.
Harrys.com/weeklyplanet. 2 more bits of news.
Jeff was also the guy that said, we'll cut out the consumer.
Okay.
Jeff's not
He's not the-
Jeff's not the sharpest tool in the drawer. A Harry Shaver is.
Very good.
All
Thank
right.
you. I don't know why I put this in. I saw the headline and it made me laugh.
Yes.
Cher's in Mamma Mia 2, but the reason I bring that up is because did you know Mamma Mia 2 is called Mamma Mia Here We Go Again? Exclamation mark.
No, but that's great.
Did you know that?
No.
That's incredible.
Wait, when did this come out or is it not
It's
out?
coming out.
All right.
It's been 10 years apparently since the last one.
Yeah, okay.
I was
That's
not
fun.
aware of that.
That's
Here
actually-
we go again.
Yeah, it's fun though.
I've heard that movie's not good, but it made
Yeah.
600 million worldwide.
Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan is apparently atrocious in his singing of that
Oh,
film.
does everybody do their own singing?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a real situation.
Okay.
I
But that's
hate ABBA. I just can't.
yeah. But I feel that joke is worth it for the
Yeah.
thing.
I feel that. So you're on board.
I'm on board, yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I wonder. Like, they've probably used all the ABBA songs, so they're just going to do them again.
Yeah, that's true.
Are they going to do Olivia Newton-John songs instead?
Oh, Xanadu.
Xanadu. They can do the Xanadu soundtrack.
Yeah. They could do Roxette songs.
Oh, they could, yeah. They're very good.
Who's the modern day ABBA?
Probably Jedward.
Oh, yes, Jedward.
Those guys.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Remember one year they had big hair, and then the next year they went back to Eurovision and they had flat hair, and people were like, God, these guys.
Wow.
How do they do it?
They broke the mold when they made these two, Jed and Ward.
Last bit of news. Stephen Esther Knight, who's the mind behind the first season of Daredevil, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing the new Pacific Rim movie. Mm-hmm. He said this about, because they're all the same company as the King Kong and Godzilla reverse.
Right.
They're all the same company. He said, I won't say there's an Easter egg, but there's been a lot of discussion about the possibility of a crossover. Ooh. I'm sure we've been asked about this before. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? A Pacific Rim / Godzilla / King Kong.
I don't know what I said last time, but today, in whatever mindset I'm in now, tired.
Yep.
I'm on board. Sounds great.
Tired and filled with safety pins.
That's right. They're just clanking around.
Yeah. What this does raise the question of another confusing timeline situation.
Yeah, where do you put it?
Where do
exactly.
you put it? I mean, you got to go in the future, right?
You'd have to go in the future, but it'd also have to be a future in which, for some reason, Godzilla and or King Kong didn't help out against...
Well, Godzilla goes into a hibernation.
That's true.
King Kong fell off a building.
It's true.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Godzilla's just in a really big gutter, scrambling to get out.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because you think he would be... Yeah, he'd be at the forefront of smashing a monster, because that's what he's about.
I think maybe parallel dimension.
Okay. Well, it could be, because it is parallel.
Yeah.
Mason.
That's right. That's
very
right.
good. Well done.
That. But of course, the Godzilla universe doesn't really fit with parallel dimensions, but
doesn't matter.
Chuck it in.
Chuck it in. Who cares?
Exactly.
All it'd have to be that a Jaeger pops through. Like, it wouldn't have to go the other way.
That's
it
true.
could go that a Jaeger pops into our
But
universe.
then what would a Jaeger be?
Because it's following the monsters.
Yeah, but that doesn't work in our dimension either,
the monsters.
Does it? No, the Jaeger.
Why not?
Jaeger? Is it Jaeger or Jaeger?
It's Jaguar.
Oh,
it's Jaeger.
Okay, right.
Like Jägermeister.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No, why wouldn't it work in our universe?
Because they're too silly.
Come on.
They're a bit silly.
You're a bit silly, mate, if you think that's silly. You don't know movies. You don't take them seriously. That's your problem, mate.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would work. It could work.
No, I don't like it at all.
Okay. You're on board a minute ago.
Yeah, but I'm on a knife edge of being on board and not on board. Because
you talked yourself out of it.
Because Godzilla basically worked in that last Godzilla movie because it was our universe to a more or less extent, and it's like, this is insane what is happening here. But you throw a giant robot in.
Yeah.
Like in the Godzilla movie, we're like, we don't have
There's
the technology.
giant robots in Godzilla. Generally.
Yeah, but not in because it's a somewhat realistic universe in the most recent.
It's
one.
getting less realistic though, isn't it?
Well, if you include King Kong, yeah.
Yeah, which you do include.
Yeah, I don't like the road. I think
if you can build a helicopter, you can build a Jaeger. Is what I'm saying.
Godzilla.
They're not that different,
I think
Mason.
Godzilla and King Kong gonna have to get caught in a dimensional rip from our universe and get sent to the Pacific Rim universe.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then they're gonna be like, what are these? We're gonna fight these monsters, and then it turns out they're not. Man was the real monster.
So it has to be they go over to... I guess, is there anybody interesting in the Godzilla universe?
No.
So, I mean, there's Quicksilver, and in King Kong, there's Tom Hiddleston, but he's from the 70s.
Yeah.
So, and Brie Larson.
Yeah. No.
Anyway, I think this all hinges on whether this movie is good.
Yes.
Pacific Rim. I mean, if it's not good, they would just be like, no. Because
Yeah,
there was supposed to be an X-Men Fantastic Four Fox crossover, which they went, no, it's actually a different dimension.
Yeah, so we can't breach dimensional barriers. So nah.
Yeah, even though in those movies they clearly can because they did it. Yeah,
yep. Mm-hmm.
Great, Mason. It's time for an ad. No, we did that already. I think it's this is worse than an ad. We're going to talk about Geostorm. Oh,
yay!
Man. No, I put the call out on Twitter.
All right, I want to be clear. We didn't, at no point did we have to talk about Geostorm, but you kind of insisted.
I floated it on Twitter and then I dragged you along because I wanted to say, do people want us to talk about Geostorm? And people did. I didn't want to say it, but I did say it. And I hated it. It was real bad. It's my least favorite genre of film.
But you hate this genre. You hate the last disaster movie we saw was San Andreas, I think.
Which I hated.
And you hated it, but you hate it. Do you hate it because... There's no one to punch.
There's no one to punch.
There's no villain.
If there's
this is a movie that does have a villain.
Yeah, but even then, it's not a good villain. It's not well fleshed out. Like the villain of San Andreas was Johan Griffith, but he'd been hit in the head. So it's like, cut him some slack.
Yeah,
like the
true.
world's falling down.
Well, let me tell you about Geostorm.
Let me tell you about Geostorm.
Let me tell you about Geostorm.
Okay, right.
It's a bad movie.
Yes.
But I loved it. And see, here's the thing. So a lot of the time a big blockbuster movie will come out and people will be like, okay, if you're going to see this movie, don't wait for DVD. You got to see it on a big screen. You got to see it on IMAX. You got to see it on double IMAX. You got to see it in 3D. You got to see it with a surround sound. You got to see it with a rumble chair. You're going to get a big popcorn and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Then you'll get the full experience. I say not with this movie, but with this movie, if you're going to see it while sitting next to a friend of yours who was hating every second of it. Because I don't know if that was definitely part of it. We
got the best seats we've ever had in a movie also ever.
And you spent a lot of it with your head in your hands. And I'm like, this is... On paper, this movie isn't very good.
No, and in reality, it's not very good also.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I hate all of these.
Yes.
And this is the worst one.
Yeah, right.
And that is really saying something. Can we just talk numbers just quickly?
Yes. I hear it did not do well.
Well, after delays and reshoots, Mason, Geostorm rocketed into theaters.
Oh, yes.
A big time.
Yeah.
They pushed it back from it was supposed to come out like March last year. I can't remember exactly when, but it's been like a year delayed. A budget of over 125 million, and in the first weekend in the US, it made 12.5. It's projected to.
That's 10%.
Which means that the reshoots didn't cover. Like if they hadn't have reshot it, they would have made more money.
Right,
because the reshoots cost more than it made in the opening weekend. Yeah, it didn't need. It didn't make any sense. Like, I don't know why you would bother trying to fix this. Just put it out. Imagine what it was before this.
Yeah, right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So it's Dean Devlin's directorial debut,
feels very. We thought initially, this is very Roland Emmerich.
Yeah,
but it's the same.
It's the same. Yeah, I thought it was, but I think I looked it up during the movie.
You did, probably.
But he's a producer of Independence Day, Stargate, Godzilla, Independence Day Resurgence. There's a pattern there. They get worse, but Godzilla's probably the worst one. But so these movies were big in the 90s, and I hated it because it were like Twister, Volcano,
I feel you would have loved Twister.
No,
I
hated Twister.
Interesting.
I hated it. I remember at the time people were like, did you see the cow? Yeah, the cow that went across the screen. Yeah, I saw it. And like that movie's it's no good. Who talks about Twister now fondly, aside from the fact that Bill Paxton or Pullman's in it?
Yeah, right.
Even Independence Day, it's not good. People like the sequel's not good. They're both not good, but they're both better than this.
Good question.
This has so many tropes.
Yeah.
Of the Roland Emmerich, Dean Devlin-averse.
Can I ask you a question about this movie? What did you think the story was? I'm turning it on you. This one's all about you, baby.
Okay, so it's like the future. It's like
a couple of years in the
4
future.
minutes into the future. In 2019, the weather's so bad that they built...
Oh, that's what I was going to say. The reason that... Maybe one of the reasons that this movie hasn't done well is because a lot of the world is currently underwater or experiencing a real-life disaster movie, often referred to as an actual natural disaster.
Right,
Maybe that's the reason.
And
anyway.
people don't need the escapism of going to watch a city fall down.
Yeah.
Okay, so because the world's gone to shit...
Yep. Weather-wise,
yeah. So Gerard Butler, he's the best scientist in the world.
He's a genius.
But he's also a bit of a bloody renegade.
Yeah, that's right.
So he builds a net around the Earth.
Not a literal net.
No, it's a net.
Oh,
he builds a full-on...
Fisherman's net.
It's got holes in it, obviously. But it covers the entire Earth. And from a space station, they can control the weather.
What's it called?
Is it Icarus or something like that?
It's called Dutch Boy.
Dutch Boy, that's right.
Because of the Dutch boy stuck his finger in the dye.
Yeah, right. But the other thing is it's called Dutch Boy, but he refers to it as a she, like a couple of times. So it's confusing there in terms of what he's supposed to know it back to front.
Yeah.
And sometimes he does, but sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah, right.
So like you'll be like, oh, to hear that noise, that means something's broken loose and you should have got this thing checked out because he gets fired.
Anyway, I'm just going to go to this bathroom and he opens the door and it's a supply closet.
Exactly.
It's like, anyway, so he
doesn't know the basic layout, but he knows the noises that it makes.
Yeah. So anyway.
Let me finish.
All right.
So he's on the council. So he runs it. He lives in space a lot of the time.
Yeah.
His brother's some kind of government liaison.
Oh, also, Gerard Butler's character's name's Jack, which is one of the
No, it's
few...
Jake.
That's Jake, one of the few manly names you're allowed to have as an action movie character in a Dean Devlin movie. You're
Also,
only allowed to be called Jack or Jake.
He's got his weird American Scottish accent that he's never quite... I like Jerry Butler as well.
Yeah, me too.
He's definitely not the worst...
you called him Jerry,
Yeah,
probably.
he's not the... He's good.
He's certainly not a Jerry. He's a real Rick, if anything.
Yeah, he's good in this as well. Like, for what it is, I like him. But
it's certainly not his most unpleasant role.
Which
probably
is gamer?
Or law-abiding citizen, where he just murders everyone.
Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of law. Yeah, that's got the phone with the gun in it.
The phone with the gun, yeah.
But so basically, he gets fired from running Dutch Boy because he's all about handing it over to the International Space Station. So it's not just America controlling it.
Yeah.
And they're like, why don't you just do the right thing? And because he stopped the weather. That's right, because the bloody bureaucrats were stopping him.
That's right, yeah.
Because
from saving lives.
So he
those
turned
pencil-necked, button-down bureaucrats.
he turned on Dutch Boy. That sweet old girl.
He saved the
before he should have, because he saved like some countries, and they were like, "You crossed the line." He's like, "I saved millions of people," and they're like, "You're fucking fired." And he's like, "Fuck you."
They're in so he comes back to Earth for like a
meeting,
like a court, not a court martial, but like a hearing.
Yeah, a drumming out.
Yeah,
a drumming down.
Yeah, drubbing down.
Drubbing down.
A drubbing down.
Sorry, I'm very fired up.
Yeah,
can't get my words in order.
Yeah,
but his brother's like, because he's in charge of the government.
Here's a fun little. Here's my favorite part of the opening sequence is that.
Spoilers.
Yeah, Jake Jack.
You didn't see this anyway. Spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. We're not expecting anybody to see this. Anyway, Jake is Jack.
That's Jake.
Jake.
Let me Google that.
He's in the hearing, right? And the button-down pencil neck is like, you're in the wrong here, and Jake's like, no, I'm the, and he's giving him a bit of pushback, and his brother, who's also in the room, keeps texting him, hey, ease up, stop it, stop being so confrontational.
And you don't know it's his brother either.
Yeah. But then he's like, yeah, well, how about you're a pencil neck nerd, and I don't care what you do, and then they're like, you're fired, and then he comes out of the meeting, he meets his brother, he meets this guy who learned his brother, and then his brother goes, hey, by the way, I'm the new head of this
thing,
the system, and I have to fire you. I warned you. I said you should have been nicer in this meeting.
Yeah.
Because now I have to fire you.
Yeah.
But it's not like... What? Again, it's one of those plot elements that could have been solved with a post-it note. He could have put it on his fridge and said, hey, just so you know...
Just shut up. I'm the boss now.
And if just... hold your tongue or I will have to fire you.
Yeah.
That's something you should have told him before.
And once I'm in charge, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm in charge and I trust you.
Yeah.
But instead he's like, you're fired.
Yeah. And then that leads to, he's like, this is just like when we were kids and you took my sailboat or whatever. I don't know.
There was a part when his brother's like, I've known your dad for a long time, because she speaks to his daughter. Oh, he's a divorced dad, because they all are in these movies.
Lives in a trailer.
All these Dean Devlin, fucking Roland Emmerich films, all the disaster films. It's a dad who's he's got a good heart, but sometimes he just can't get it together.
Yeah.
It's that whole situation.
Sometimes you can just build a worldwide network of satellites that can save the world by changing the weather. But you can't put a down payment on a house,
No.
So you just have to live in a trailer by a river.
One person thanks him.
Yeah, right.
But that guy should be the king of the world.
Yeah, right.
Like, quite literally.
Yeah.
But even I don't believe.
But in order to become king of the world, you have to fill in a form. And he's not about filling in forms, man.
I don't believe in 2022 or whenever this is set that the man who's literally saved the world could get fired by another man who could not exist in the real world. Who's like, we saved the world, but you're fired. And he's like, why? You didn't save the world. I didn't see you up on my space station.
Right.
I can't believe that wouldn't go to Twitter. Hey, they fired the guy who saved the world.
Yeah.
It just would not happen. The backlash alone.
Yeah, right.
It's so fucking implausible, this entire thing.
Uh-huh.
And it is hilarious, but obviously you were more forgiving of.
Yes, absolutely.
But I just couldn't wrap my mind around how something this fucking stupid got this far. And it's $120 million.
Yeah.
Where is the budget? Because even the falling down of buildings looks terrible.
Right?
The special effects are laughable in places. Like, really terrible.
So what did you think the plot was?
So, I'm still in that, aren't there?
Yeah,
so, Dutch Boy's gone rogue. That old girl.
Yes. that sweet maven of the seas, Dutch boy, has bloody. There's a scene in the desert where like a whole bunch of people are being frozen. And there's a scene in Russia or something where
Hong Kong where the city heats up and all the buildings fall down.
Yeah,
and they're like, it's probably nothing. And so the brother Jim Sturgis of Jake goes, I tell you what you should do: send up a whole crew, do a full investigation. And they're like, no, just send up one guy.
Yep.
And he's like, well, I've got the perfect guy.
My brother who hates me. Yeah, Jake Jack.
So then he has to go up to Dutch Boy and unravel this conspiracy of, is it a virus or is it a person doing it? It's a person.
It's a person. Spoilers.
And then, Jim Sturgis on the ground, who looks like he cuts his own hair, which I'm not against, but it's very noticeable, right?
Yeah, totally. But he's always missing at the back.
Yeah, it's always missing at the back. Yeah, get a couple of mirrors. But he's trying to unravel the conspiracy on Earth while his brothers kind of do it in space. And I get the messages that it's going for.
Meanwhile, his brother, Max, cuts his own hair.
Yes.
Max cuts his own hair.
Yeah.
He has to deal with this conspiracy on the ground while also being bailed out by his Secret Service girlfriend, played by Abby Cornish,
great Australian actor,
who's the action hero of this. But he also has to deal with the fact that they can't make their relationship public because it's against the rules of the Secret Service.
They can't get married because it's illegal.
Because of the Secret Service.
I mean, maybe that's a rule in the future. Maybe it's a rule now. I'm fairly certain it's not.
Yeah, and nor will it be.
So, I mean, it's not the priesthood, is it?
No.
You know what I mean? It makes no sense. Why can't they make it public? So he uses her contacts to like get close to the president because they think maybe it's the president because this conspiracy goes all the way to the top. Turns out it's Ed Harris. But the reason he wants
the actor Ed Harris.
But his reasoning behind it is that he wants to start again, but he also wants to be president. So he's willing to kill
the president,
everybody in the Middle East, the president, Hong Kong, and presumably China, and Russia. Yeah. So that's the plan. Mm-hmm. So, but he's like, we're gonna do a clean reset, and now I'll be president. Ed Harris is a great actor, but he could not sell this shit. Like, on no level.
All right, here's a question. Could this film be salvaged by Jerry Butler's ragtag team when he goes up to Dutch Boy, when he goes up to the old girl, Dutch Boy, and he goes up there because they give him a team, they give him an elite team. The team consists of the British guy.
He's basically, what's his name? He's Russell Brand.
Right, yeah.
Also, he gets there. So can finish. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've got to form the team together. Yeah. Okay. Russell Brand, poor man's Billy Bob Thornton, but he's from Mexico.
He's Mexican. There's a poor man's Jean Reno, and he's French, and there's a German woman who runs the station. Mm-hmm. But when he gets there, he's like, let me tell you something.
There's also a couple of members of that, and another couple of members of the ragtag team, but they don't do anything.
Yes, that's right, but they're there. I think it's just to kind of flesh out the multicultural cast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I like that idea of the world coming together to solve this common problem. Like, there's themes.
So you're saying
issues.
You like this movie?
Shut up!
Yeah.
But he gets there and he's like, and he sits down the ragtag team. And he's like, listen, I'm here to make we're gonna clean this up because something's going on here, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. And God damn it, you guys are sons of bitches, and this is a bloody shambles. And they're like, who are you? You don't recognize the guy who built the station. He's probably the most famous man in the world, and you work on the thing that he built.
Yeah, right.
And you don't know who he is.
Haven't you seen the poster in your room of him?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
And also they've got this camaraderie that you don't feel at all. There's a bit at the end where he's saved by the Mexican guy.
Yeah.
The Mexican Billy Bob Thornton.
That's my favourite bit.
And it's got a very unironic. So he jettisons out because Dutch Boy, that old girl, gets exploded.
The Iron Lady, Dutch Boy.
The Iron Lady of the sky, of space, explodes, and he escapes in a little capsule. And the Mexican guy grabs him with a spaceship. Mm-hmm. And he unironically turns to him and goes, whatever your name is, you son of a bitch.
So
and he gives him a thumbs up and he's like, remember, I'm Mexican or whatever. Which is kind of a nod to be like, hey, even people from Mexico are people too. Remember
That's
that?
Right. Remember how Mexico and America used to be mortal enemies?
Exactly. But the thing is though, but they never had any interactions where that would work. He had more interactions with the French guy. So when he's like, you my old friend. No, you never had any interactions. Right. You maybe had a couple of sentences. The French guy you interacted with more. There's a bit where he goes into the locker room to find like a memory stick because there was a guy who was
a hollow stick.
Sorry, because
it's 5 years in the future.
Yeah,
so
that's right. So it's got some data on it because a guy who was working there who got jettisoned from the spaceship because he knew too much hid it in the locker room, and he gets in there and he opens the locker and finds it, and the French guy's there and he's like, I've been waiting for somebody to come and find this. I knew something was up. So he's been waiting there for 2 weeks
in a sweaty,
but
humid
also,
locker room.
There are a lot of other scenes where he's not in the locker room,
right.
so I don't even know how that works.
Well, there's prime locker room going into times.
Sure.
You know?
I mean, he must be near the door.
All humans are on a natural going into a locker room cycle.
I guess they are. I guess they are.
What else happens in this movie that's pretty great? He can't get it together to like... He's divorced and he can't look after his daughter.
And it's one of those daughters where it's it's
she's like 12 or something.
Yeah, it's like you Liv Tyler in Armageddon but younger. It's the sassy daughter, but she reminds me of that, the girl in Transformers, the last Transformers, is like, right. I'm a bit ragtag, but I've built a solar panel bloody barbecue or whatever.
Now
I'm
get
just
it
like
together,
my dad.
Dad.
Yeah, get it together. I'm not supposed to be telling you what to do, and
it's pretty great.
And there was a point where he's like, don't worry, I'm definitely going to come back. So even though the space station was exploding and whatever, and you're like, oh no, because he's the last one there, he's definitely going to die. But at no point his daughter's watching on. It's like all these movies. It cuts to like people watching televisions of disasters, or look like it cuts around the world, and there's like oil barons in Dubai. That's something else which we'll get into. And they're watching footage of like the world going to shit because there's going to be a geostorm. Heads up, also there is no geostorm in this movie.
There never gets to be a geostorm.
There's the start of a geostorm, but then there's no geostorm.
That's true.
So if you're going
there's
in for
a very
geostorm,
specific countdown to a geostorm.
There's an hour and a half until a geostorm. Which is that a real thing?
No.
Surely not. But it's basically all the different storms will happen at once. It's not like the same storm. One place it's a volcano, other places it's hail, other places it's a flood.
At one point it's just a giant laser shooting down from a satellite. That's apparently one of the abilities of this weather satellite of the great lady of Dutch boys to just shoot a laser down. Hey, we're going to change the weather in that city. Oh yeah, shoot a laser at it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So there's no geostorm. But okay, also at the end, so it cuts to Dubai and this giant wave rolls in and kills everybody.
Yeah, right.
That city has, I don't know how many millions of people, but there's a lot. There's also skyscrapers, and it cuts to like oil barons or oil sheiks up in the towers, and they're looking very worried as this wave rolls in and hits the building. And at the end, they're safe and they're all high-fiving because we got out of it. So thank God these oil barons survived.
I mean, all their slaves died.
Yeah, all their slaves wiped out. Because I don't know if you've ever been to Dubai, and I've only been to the airport. You look out, it's this glittering, amazing glass and steel city, and then it's just shit.
Yeah.
Like, because it's in the middle of the desert. So everybody who's below 40 stories is dead.
Yeah, right.
Also, they save a dog in this because, of course, they do. Because
that's
that's the universe that it's in. So so in all the ensuing chaos, because it's cutting around the world, they don't go to Australia, which we're waiting for because they always go to Australia.
Waiting to see the Sydney Opera House melting or being covered in snow or something, or being shot with a laser.
$120 million, and you couldn't cut the Sydney Opera House in half with a laser. Get it together.
Yeah,
but I guess they weren't aiming for Australia.
Or maybe like somebody sitting below a tin roof and they're going like, Marge, the rains are here.
Wave.
Yeah, and then he's dead.
Or a laser. Actually.
A laser, yeah.
Shit. I said my mic. A laser would be better. But my God.
There's some incredible moments in this movie. One of my favorites has just come to mind. So on the ground, the brother and Abby Cornish discover that there's a conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah.
And so he goes, wait, which way does this go?
I don't know what you're going to say.
There's a code. We realized at a certain point that as kids they had a special, because they both wanted to be.
They're always video phoning each other from the space station to the two brothers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so who has the?
So Jerry Butler tells a story.
Jerry Butler, that's right. Jerry Butler, he's like, listen, we don't get along, but listen. Remember this when we were kids, and our dad took us out fishing, and we never caught anything. But we
thought it was a conspiracy.
Yeah, blah blah blah, right? And then he's like,
and maybe it was a Dutch boy had been hacked of a day, kind of thing.
Yeah, but then what happens is
the lady of the sky,
But then he tells this long involved story about going fishing, and hey, maybe we could go fishing again sometime or whatever. And then the brother takes the video of this conversation, this long involved story, takes it down to his computer hacker friend, played by Zazie Beetz from Atlanta. Yeah, who's good in this, I think.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, he's like, listen, we had a special code as kids. Here's this number of this cell phone number.
Yeah.
Give us the ninth word, and then the ninth word, and then the fifth word, and then the seventh word, and then the eighth word, and then the fifth word, or whatever. And then she goes, okay, and she isolates it all. And then Jerry Butler goes, there's a conspiracy. It's the president. Like it's so good. Like that he would have had to write it and rehearse it and highlight it and make sure the brother. If the brother had interrupted it, he would have he would have had to go. If the brother had gone, hey, what's the point of this story? He would have had to go, just listen, I'm literally going to have to start the story again.
Disregard this, what I'm saying now. Yeah.
Start again. That's one of my favourite bits.
Also, he goes back later and he's like, I've got my lady friend, the woman from what's it called? The show that you just mentioned. Atlanta. Yeah. And she's like, oh, don't worry, we can talk normally because I've hacked the system or whatever. So, But also the brother on the ground also already knew something was up.
Yeah, right. That's
true. So they
true.
both kind of figured it out at the same time anyway.
Because they're brothers and they're on the same wavelength.
There's also a bit, I didn't realize they were brothers because they're like, because he says, Jim Sturgis, the haircut guy, says to Jerry Butler's daughter, you know, when I was your age, me and your bloody dad used to bang about. And I'm like, are they the same age? They're like 15 years apart.
Yeah.
And they are brothers and he is younger. Mm-hmm. And there's also a weird message about little brothers don't know anything. It's a real hard line in this movie. Have you noticed that?
Wow. Well, I didn't notice that, but as the middle brother,
I'm a middle brother.
You would have noticed that quite a lot.
Yeah, that's right. It's terrible.
No, it's really good. Okay, so anyway, we're still in the story. I don't know if you're aware of that. You don't. Yeah.
When are we going to get to the review?
So anyway, the story. It turns out like all these disasters are happening, and people are like, oh, what's happening? It must be just malfunctions or whatever. And so they bring in like one of the satellites and it just starts swinging around like crazy and like trying to smash him. Yeah. And then is there another attempted murder? Probably.
Yeah, he's in space. That's right.
Uh-huh.
He goes out to space because he needs to get, because there's a
hard drive has gone into space.
Stuck in one of the wings of that old girl, that old chestnut.
That's right.
So he goes out in a spacesuit and there's a bit where it looks like he might float off into space and they're like, oh no, Jerry Butler's going to go into space. He's got to grab onto something. They've got 50 spaceships.
Yeah, right.
They've got 50 spaceships. You see them all the time. It is no effort to get one down to Earth or back up again.
Yeah,
they're flying all about. It's like the Death Star. People are coming and going, but they're like, oh, I hope Jerry Butler hangs on.
One question that arose for me is, surely the manufacturing...
Everything's got a big grabby arm on it. Sorry,
the manufacturing processes that led to that there's 50 spaceships and this enormous grid of satellites, maybe instead of doing that, maybe don't manufacture them and there'd be less pollution. And the weather might normalize a little bit. But
things had to get worse before they got better, Mason.
I guess that's true, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so they determine that there's a virus on the spaceship and they're like, where'd the virus come from? The top.
Yes, it was the top.
But it was also the British guy.
Oh, yeah, it was Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got a gun.
We thought it was the French guy because it's always the French guy.
I didn't think it was the French guy.
Yeah.
I thought because that's been... The French are now our allies.
That's kind
of how it goes. And it would have been the French guy in the 90s or maybe the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Remember Freedom Fries was the thing?
That's true, yeah.
So it would have been... Yeah. But I realised, though, because I picked the villain as Ed Harris, because... You said it's the president, I said it's Ed Harris. I think I already knew, because in the trailer you see the president get kidnapped. So I think subconsciously I already knew that. So I don't think it was a guess.
Or
I think
consciously.
I think I may have just known that.
To be clear, Ed Harris is like the president's second in command or something, or his Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some guy, he's campaign manager, I don't know.
Who cares?
What else happens
Look, he's close enough to being the president where he can just be the president if he kills the president.
What I enjoyed about this is we determined that the British guy is the guy behind inserting the virus for a lot of money. That was why he did it.
And he's like, don't you want to see it all go down? Oh, obviously he doesn't, because he built the machine to stop it from happening.
Yeah.
Who are you trying to convince?
Yeah. Anyway, so they have to reset Geostorm.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So they have to reset Geostorm, the Dutch boy, the beautiful lady. They have to reset it to purge the virus, and if they don't, a Geostorm's going to happen. But in order to reset Geostorm, you need the reset codes, and the reset codes are the fingerprints and retina scan of the president.
Yes.
So that's why they have to work together.
Yes.
But and also the self-destruct is happening on the
Geostorm.
on the Dutch boy.
Which was in the virus, or did they set that? I think it was in the virus.
I think it was in the virus also, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but at any point, he's fighting. Jerry Butler is fighting the British guy. The British guy pulls out a gun.
Yep.
And what I enjoy about it is literally the station is exploding, like pieces are flying off it, and they're still just hanging out. But then the British guy like shoots a window with his gun accidentally, and he's blasted out into space. I enjoyed that a lot.
It's a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It's a lot of fun, I think. Anyway, so the brother and
Abby Cornish.
think that the president is responsible for this. So they're like, we're going to kidnap the president.
Trick to you, Mason.
And get him to switch it off.
Yeah.
Right. But then they tell Ed Harris.
Yeah.
That is the deal. And Ed Harris is like, well, you need to know that the reset switches is blah blah. So he just tells them the information they need.
Why would he?
Why would you? You'd be like, oh cool, the reset codes are in that room.
Yeah.
And then shoot him. But you don't.
Also, he has Jim Sturgis's haircut, has his back to Ed Harris. And Ed Harris goes to shoot him and he misses.
Yeah.
Like he can't do it.
Great stuff.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Also,
anyway, so Abby Cornish and haircut, they kidnap the president and
Yeah.
put him in a little car, like a self-driving car. They make a very big note that it's a self-driving
Boy, do
car.
they, yeah.
And then they drive off. There's a car chase.
There's a South African Secret Service agent.
Yep, it's pretty good. Anyway,
which could probably be a thing, but it just seemed like you can't make him American.
Yeah,
like
right.
They had to be like, no, he's South African, so you know he's bad.
Yeah,
you know he's no good.
Real good. And then let's see. Then what happens?
Then she's doing some great driving.
Yep.
She does that thing where you spin the car around and you're going reverse.
You're driving
really
reverse
fast,
and you're also shooting.
at the same time.
Yep.
And the president's like, you should marry this girl. So is it not a rule that you can marry? Like, is he circumventing the rule?
Presidential edict. You're both married now. And then they drive off, and then Ed Harris is like, Ed Harris is
He's waiting for them.
waiting for him, and he's like, okay, they're going to come through this way. So
Get the
South
rocket
African
launcher.
Secret Service member, get the bazooka
No,
out
it's
of the
not,
car.
he was already died. The
Oh,
South
okay,
African
right.
guy.
Oh, the Secret Service guy, get your standard issue bazooka out of the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
And then
The one we packed just in case.
just in case we needed to rocket launch a car. And then the car drives up and they shoot it with a rocket launcher. And then Ed Harris draws his gun and like goes around the wreckage of the car.
It's so exploded.
Yeah.
The car is just, it's a fireball.
It explodes and it flips. and then they're like, we got it. And then Abby Cornish shows up and is like,
Not today, you
not
son of a
today.
bitch.
It was a self-driving car, you son of a bitch.
Also, somehow we set the car to self-drive, and then we ran up the road about half a kilometre behind you.
Yeah.
And waited until you blew up the
And
self-driving
then
car.
50 police cars and helicopters
So
show us.
many all at once, yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. And the president's like, I'm the president, you son of a bitch. Or whatever. It's pretty great. And then they get then they have to go, then they go somewhere and they put the codes in.
Yeah.
And then they send the codes up to Jerry Butler, and they've evacuated the station because it's all exploding.
So
and he's
many.
like, I'm going to have to do this alone. But then the French lady or the German lady from before shows up.
Where was she for 25 minutes?
Don't know, just hanging out. Also, there's a bit where
He goes to the wrong door again.
he goes to go through a door
Yeah.
to get to the other side to put the
That's right,
put the
yeah.
self-destruct, switch off the self-destruct codes or whatever, and then a whole thing explodes and he can't get through there, and there's like 2.5 minutes to go.
And he's like, damn it.
Damn it! And then he's put on a spacesuit.
Yep.
And then he flies out there. You can't put on a spacesuit on in 2.5 minutes.
By yourself.
Absolutely not. No.
Maybe it's a slip-on. I
Yeah,
don't
maybe
know.
it's a slip-on. But anyway, he's
Also,
like,
the German lady had also put on a spacesuit
yep.
at some point.
Yeah, just in case.
Don't you think if the ship is exploding, put on the spacesuit? Like, that's priority
Yeah,
number one.
yeah, I think
because
so.
he could have been out in that corridor when it blew out.
That's true,
I mean,
yeah.
he's lucky that he wasn't.
Like the
Lucky.
time, like when it happened to that guy earlier on the movie.
Yeah.
And that's on video that he's
Oh,
seen.
man. The whole thing's going to shit. Dutch boy, that old metal bitch in the sky. Just,
That dirty old oily broad. But then he's like, I can't do it. I've gone the wrong door. And then the lady shows up and she's like, I've got it. You boop, boop, boop. And then they go in and then they stop the Geostorm with like seconds to spare. And then on Earth, the Geostorm just stops.
instantly.
Yeah.
Because that's how weather works.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, I guess we're lost in space
I mean,
forever.
I get the
but then the shuttle shows up and Mexican poor man's Billy Bob Thornton shows up and collects him with a claw and he's like, haha, you son of a bitch.
Because we're old friends.
Yeah, nice. That's the movie.
I think Dean Devlin's an idiot. And I've thought this for like 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I've said this on the show before. He seems like a very nice man.
Oh,
but I couldn't find the interview. There's an interview around the Star Wars re-release.
Yes.
And I looked and looked for it, but I couldn't find it, where he's talking about the first time that he saw Star Wars. Because he's like 55, so he's like prime age for original recipe Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And the scene that he recounts is like, George Lucas is a genius and blah, 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 which I agree with. It's a great film, obviously. We've talked about it. But he goes, and then there was a bit where Darth Vader came into the room for the first time and the whole cinema booed. And I was like, how does everybody know to do that? I don't know, because he just came through the door with the space Nazis who just gunned down 40 men. He's dressed in all black. There's ominous music. He's terrifying. Everybody's standing out of his way. What do you think everybody booed? What do you think the reasoning is? How did everyone figure it out at once?
What do you think the booing was for? It's a great new segment.
Also, this is a tweet of his.
Yes.
And I hate to rag on a man specifically, but I just feel like he's been doing the same thing for 20 years and nobody said anything.
Right.
Okay, so this is the tweet. Geostorm movie shows dangers of hacking the climate. We need to talk about real-world geoengineering now. Geostorm doesn't show the dangers of hacking the climate. It shows the benefits of hacking the climate and the dangers
of a supervillain.
Of a supervillain wanting to destroy half the planet.
Yeah.
If anything, this movie is an advocate for hacking the climate. Like at the end of this, I'm like, if they could do that, they should.
What is interesting about this movie is there's no moral in the movie that is, hey, maybe you should recycle, or like maybe we should introduce a carbon pricing scheme, or maybe, stop using aerosol cans or whatever. There's none of that. It's just like, just wait for the world to burn and then build some satellites.
Yeah. Look, I'll say this.
Yes.
These movies are dead. This is it.
You think this is the last one?
Finally happened.
Really? Here's the thing.
It's taken a long time since like 1995 Twister. And I know there's been disaster movies before that, but this is kind of like that. This is the last gasp. I don't have to see any of these anymore.
Really? I think it's just the last gasp for you. Here's the thing. I don't think you're right there. I think you're wrong. You know how just earlier in the show we were talking about those pay-to-play games and play-to-win games, and you were like, I think they've reached the end of the line, and they're going to have to pull back from
it's
here.
A turning point. Yeah, you're probably right,
I think the turning point... So the last actual disaster movie we saw was San Andreas, but the last movie of this type we saw was the last Transformers movie. And I think that is the turning point for this film. Because here's the reason I liked this movie a bit. Jerry Butler, he's the same character from the Transformers movies, except he's not a lunatic. You know what I mean? Like, I felt this felt like a cool breeze. Yeah, it's a welcome relief.
You're right. It's definitely better than a Transformers film.
The Transformers movies are essentially disaster movies, except there's something behind. Like, it's always buildings are falling down and like platforms are collapsing and people are going, and falling and whatever. Right, but they have the same protagonist, which is the guy who can't get it together. But in the Transformers movies, that character is the worst person in the world. Like, Shia LaBeouf is just like, again, like Megan Fox should be the main character of that first movie. Yeah. Because she's together. She's smarter than him. She knows stuff. She's got principles. She actively goes back at the end to like drive the pickup truck with Bumblebee at the end and like shoot the bad guys.
She might be more golden.
Just
which is saying a lot.
She's very tan.
Yeah,
and then, but
you're right.
We focus on the main character, the Cade Yeager, the Shia LaBeouf. Yeah. It's just a screaming idiot who is just yelling at everybody and is super aggressive. And his way is no better than anybody else's way. Yeah, he's always just wrong. Like, and this guy, Jerry Butler, like this is a pullback. This is we're going. Yeah, just have a guy and he's just a regular Joe, but actually he knows some stuff. And he's generally likable.
I agree with you.
He's not like pulling out a beer on a street and like getting out of a car and drinking a beer and threatening everybody around him,
Running over a guy's face with a car or whatever, yeah.
Classic Cade Yeager.
Yeah, that's it. No, you're not wrong.
Anyway, best movie ever in my opinion.
No, it's the worst.
Wow.
Look, I think you could enjoy... Look, I rant and rave and whatever, like a lunatic, but there is fun in this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't encourage you to see it because also I think this could be the last gasp because it's made $12 million.
Yeah, right. Like, exactly. Yeah.
15 years ago, this would have been a smash hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they put it out now because
Yes,
they just
they
couldn't? Well, that's true. Do you think they put it out now because they couldn't? They had to put it out.
The window's closing on this. Yeah.
But do you think it's that, or do you think it's because they think that climate change is going to get worse? Like this is. What if they're like, this is the we can't go back and we can't put it out at a better time. But if we put this out in a year, there might have been 5 more hurricanes.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and we can't put it
possible.
out.
Yeah, you might be right.
At all.
You might be right. Anyway, good on you, Dean Devlin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I yelled at you. That's not nice. You're just doing your best. You're probably a very nice man.
Yeah.
So apologies.
Great stuff.
I thought we were going to talk about that for like 10 minutes.
Really?
That went.
I wanted to draw it out.
But
anyway, if you haven't seen it.
I didn't even write down that much.
Yeah. You don't have to see it at all.
Yeah.
But do.
Yeah. You know what it's time for then, Mason?
What's it time for?
What we reading?
What we gonna read?
I'm doing the thing. What are we reading today? I'd love to know what you're reading or going on.
I've been reading Dark Knight's Metal, which is DC's latest crazy crossover event.
Oh yeah, Metal. What's a crossover with?
Just itself, really.
Oh.
It's a standalone event, and it's got some tie-in issues. Have you heard about Metal? I think I mentioned there was some prequel issues. There was Dark Days the Forge and Dark Days the Casting, I think they were called.
Okay.
And basically the premise is it's a very convoluted premise involving there are all these mysterious metals in the DC universe, and they can cause a breach in a dimensional barrier and blah blah blah.
Sure.
But it's called Metal more because somebody's come up with some really metal character designs, and they're like, let's make it real metal.
So it's from the mid-90s, is it?
No, this is now. This is coming
Metal's
out.
from mid-90s though. You said it's a crossover.
Yeah, but no, this is a series that's happening now.
No, I understand.
Yes.
But is Metal is an existing property, is my question.
Oh, no, this is new.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
This is a new thing.
Gotcha.
The DC metals that exist in the, like Prometheum or like Nth Metal or whatever, they're all from back in the day. Anyway, the premise is basically that, look, the short premise is, somebody went, hey, wouldn't it be cool if Batman also had the powers of somebody else, like another superhero, and he was an evil lunatic?
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, Batman has discovered that they discovered that in addition to all the parallel universes of the DC multiverse, there's also a dark multiverse that's falling to pieces, and the only survivors of a lot of these collapsing universes are evil, crazy Batmen. And they've all teamed up, and they're going to invade the regular DC universe. It's madness. That
sounds good.
Some of the main tie-in, the main book is pretty fun. Like it's introducing a lot of. I think DC went since the last rebirth, the reboot. They went, hey, let's just reintroduce all the crazy stuff you used to love. So Hawkman, the Hawkman and Hawkgirl are back, and like Plastic Man's on his way back, and all this sort of stuff.
Is one of the Batman Owlman?
No, this is a separate universe entirely.
Separate universe.
So there's the regular multiverse, which contains Owlman, obviously, and then there's like a flip side which contains all these dark. So there's like a version of Batman who, when his parents were murdered, he was offered a Green Lantern ring, and then he goes and he kills the guy who killed his parents, and then he goes crazy and he just starts killing everybody, and then his universe collapses and he's like, I'll kill everybody, and then he meets all the other crazy Batman. So there's like a Flash Batman, and there's a cyborg Batman called the Murder Machine.
That's a good name.
It's pretty metal.
That's very metal.
Yeah.
We're talking alternate Batman stories, Mason.
Yes.
There's a story called Batman White Knight out at the moment.
Oh, I've seen the preview for that.
One issue, yeah.
What do you think of it?
I quite liked it. I like the premise. It's obviously one issue, so I'm not, we'll see where it goes. But basically, it's, for those who don't know, it's a universe where this Batman got to the point where he's a big old lunatic. Like the Batman Superman version where he'll just crush 40 cars and knock down a building to get the Joker just to punch him in the face.
Yeah, right.
And the Joker's like, don't you see that this is bad and what you're doing is bad? Like, I know I'm bad, but what you're doing
is bad and you should feel bad.
Yeah, but what do you... And he's like... I bet if I was sane, I could clean up the city better than you. And Batman's like, unlikely. And then he stuffs a whole lot of sane pills into the Joker.
Right.
So the Joker turns good
and
then uses his powers insanity and genius to fix up the city.
Right.
Which he does.
Is it does it come through plausibly?
Yeah, enough.
Well, I was going to say, spoilers for Metal. One of the tie-in one, Dawnbreaker, which is the Green Lantern one.
Yeah.
He gets the Green Lantern ring, right? And then he uses his incredible willpower to like override its no killing protocol to kill his parents' murderer.
Yeah.
And then he just starts killing everybody. And at one point he is on the rooftop with Jim Gordon.
So he's a kid?
He's a kid and then he grows up and clearly he spends like a decade plus just mowing people down. But at one point he's on the rooftop with Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
And Jim Gordon's like, hey, Batman, but maybe you should stop just killing everybody. And Batman's like, are you telling me what to do? And Gordon's like, no,
definitely not.
Maybe don't. But then Batman's like, hey, you have a daughter, don't you? Well, now she's going to grow up without a father, and just murders him with the ring.
What?
And I'm like,
why would Jim Gordon even be on board with him to the point where they're still hanging out on the roof
exactly.
together?
But also, why, even if you've gone completely insane, why would you be like, my parents were murdered,
yeah,
so I should just murder everybody else's parents?
So this Metal book isn't great, is what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that the main Metal book is fine, but these tie-in books are not necessarily the best.
Okay,
they're interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know if I haven't read The Murder Machine yet, so... There's also one where I've seen the cover where he clearly gets Doomsday's powers for some reason.
Oh, very
There's
good.
also an Aquaman one where he's Aquaman, but he's also a lady. I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, Batman, that old girl, that old lady of the lake.
That lady of the lake, Bruce Wayne. I don't know what's happening there, but good on him.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I like the idea of all these alternate lunatic Batmans, though.
Yeah.
Often I find, like, I'll read the main story and then I just don't read anything else.
Yeah. Do you think Batman's relative insanity goes through in cycles?
What do you mean, as in he's up and down in terms of...
No, I mean in terms of publication-wise. Do you think the vibe is, let's make him crazier for a bit?
Yeah, sometimes he's like, he's a guy who can do anything and he's unkillable and he's a god, and then other times he's a lunatic.
Or do you think it's, we'll show people that they don't like a super crazy Batman and then
that's
we can
possible.
have a night? Because that's what they did in the 90s with Azrael as the crazy Batman. They're like, we'll make him so crazy that people are like...
The people loved it. Mason.
Yeah, they're like, we'll just give him a regular Batman and they'll prefer it.
Original recipe. Yeah, I think they like to mix it up every now and then.
It's good,
just to remind people of the great things that Batman does.
Throw Batarangs.
Throw Batarangs. Why don't you throw us a bloody theme song, Mason?
Oh, yeah. For our next segment. Letters.
The classic one was letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away. You know they're here right now, we're going to do letters.
Some people think we sound like it says lettuce.
Oh, right. Well, that makes sense.
Just to be clear, this is...
The lettuce
There
segment.
is no lettuce segment. I was going to say, do you think we're saying lettuce?
Yeah, is that all we've been saying? Wow.
Here we go.
If you want to send us some lettuce, some pictures of lettuce,
yeah, please.
weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com or tweet us.
Make sure the question or letter is written on the lettuce.
If you could, yeah.
Yeah. Or hashtag weeklyplanetpod on Twitter. Yeah. Do you want to read your letters?
Yeah, this is from Nathan S.
Yeah.
Hello from the world famous New Mexico, USA.
Woo!
This is Nathan. He's writing this as a reminder to James to tell his hair dye story.
Oh, I can do that.
Okay, you weren't avoiding it?
No.
Because you have very grey hair.
Thank you.
Salt and pepper.
Thank you.
You're a salt and pepper girl. You're a real grey lady.
Yeah.
But when we saw you on Screen Junkies movie fights,
it was definitely darker. Well, Mason, that's what I decided to do.
Yes.
Because I got paranoid and vain, which I think speaks to my personality deep down.
Yeah.
There's a rejuvenation shampoo you can get.
my goodness, really?
So it's not a dye, Mason.
Okay.
It slowly restores. So you can stop at whatever point you want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you put it in and it makes it a little bit darker. It's not a dye, Mason. It's a rejuvenation. And by that I mean it slowly makes your hair darker.
Okay, like a dye would.
Yeah, like a dye would, but it's not a dye.
It's not a dye, right, okay.
And I think I just took it too far.
Right.
Yeah. Because you can't tell. You can't I can't notice it happening.
Yeah,
do you know what
right.
I mean? Mm-hmm. So it happened over like a month, and then I'm like, I've taken this too far. And now I'm like, do I go backwards? Like now do I have to do this forever?
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, that's where that's at. Yeah.
That's interesting.
But it leaves a little bit of grey, which I don't mind.
Oh,
what do you think
nice.
of it, Mason?
Thought it looked dumb. Looked like a dumb. No, I thought it looked fine.
Good. Was that the only question?
That's the only question I had.
Okay, sure, yeah. Well, Mason, I thought I'd duck that forever.
Well,
No,
you
not
didn't.
Really. And everything comes back.
But people have seen photos of you with grey hair.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm not saying it's not rational, Mason.
Oh, okay. Well,
but why do I have to walk around like an old man? Why does everyone else get dark hair and I don't? That's not fair.
Because everybody else dyes it.
But you know what the other thing is? Yeah, that's true. Well, my brothers, because we're all the same. We've
Yeah.
got the grey hair. And they didn't realize because it's gradual. And then at one point, one of them realized, and they were just like, it felt like it looked like a betrayal, like they attacked me.
Oh wow,
like
yeah,
like,
right.
You've thrown away everything that makes our family great.
You've gone Hollywood.
For Hollywood,
yeah, that's right. Because I think everybody goes great about 29.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then
I went way early. Well, you
really?
know that. Yeah.
Well, and then everybody panics.
Yeah.
And they dye their hair and they look out in the world and they go, Why does everybody else have perfect dark hair?
Yeah.
But everybody else has gone grey and everybody else has panicked.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's right.
So the idea, I think it'd almost be better for me if I was completely white. Then I'd be like, that's fine. You know what I mean? But
Ted Danson
it's
style.
this in between that I don't like, Mason.
Yeah, right.
I don't care for it. Anyway, that's where that's at.
Anyway, you look great.
Thanks, Mason.
Yeah.
Got some tweets here.
Oh yeah, let's see. Here's
This
some
is
tweets.
from Oni Baku on Twitter.
Okay.
Since a DC versus Marvel movie is inevitable, would you think it's inevitable?
No.
I think it is.
I don't
at
think
some
it
point-
is.
I'm not saying, well, here we go. Let me finish the tweet.
All right.
Let me finish the tweet,
All
Mason,
right, just-
before I interrupt the tweet to ask you a question and
Okay,
tell
right.
you to shut up about it.
jeez, all right.
Which characters and actors will it be when this happens in, say, 30 years?
Oh.
Hashtag Weekly Planet Pod. So they're saying 30 years from now,
Yeah.
when, say, all this has gone away and we're both dead, but I've got beautiful, rich black hair in my
that's
grave.
right, you do.
Yeah. That this is, that these will cross over. I think they will. I think it's an
Okay.
inevitability. Even if it's not
Right.
30 years, say it's 100 years, I think it's going to happen.
Because they don't even cross the comic books anymore.
No. Because, but I think it's going to get to the point where they'll be looking for something else to do.
Oh, sure, right.
And so, like, a deal will be struck. And
Right.
Dimensions will
I
cross.
guess potentially maybe one company will buy out the other.
Right, yeah.
Like at some point, maybe Disney and Warner Brothers will combine.
Yeah.
And then they'll just have all the properties together and they'll be like...
Okay, yeah. Well, that sort of...
And they'll be like, all the movies are $50 a ticket now. What are you going to do? Go to the other one? I think not.
Well, wasn't there was something about Disney were going to buy Warner Brothers at one point. There was sort of, one of them was going to buy
That's
the other
right,
one or
yeah.
something, so
Yeah.
they were going to all be owned by, or was it Apple was going to buy Disney, which
I don't
is
know.
linked to whatever.
It's probably
I can't remember.
Comcast were going to buy everyone. I
Who
don't know.
knows? But yeah. So I think even if there isn't there isn't going to be one global Amazon that owns everything, I think that even if they're separate
Dutch
companies,
boy.
Dutch boy,
That's what they're going to call it.
yeah, I think it will happen eventually. But the follow-up question was, who's going to be, what actors will be in this movie in like 30
I don't know. In
years?
30 years, who are some good kid actors now? I have no idea, honestly.
Oh, I forgot to mention this earlier. Ty Simpkins is going to be in Avengers 4. He was in Iron Man 3.
Oh, so he's the kid from Iron Man 3.
And he'll be like
Okay, right.
16 when that rolls around.
Okay,
16,
right.
17. So do you think they're going to make him Kid Iron Man?
No. In what capacity? Does it say at all?
No, it doesn't say what capacity. It could just be a funeral. It could be Tony Stark's funeral.
Yeah, that's true.
If he
Yeah,
dies. I don't know. I don't know.
So no, it doesn't say as a main role. He could just be.
He
in
could
the-
just be in it. Yeah.
All right, okay.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So do you think there's any chance that there'll be like actors still around who be like they'll get back a 70? He wouldn't be 70, be 80. Like your old Robert Downey Jr. and he's back as Tony
Maybe
Stark for one.
they
more
might get
bloody ride.
They might get a Tom Holland.
Yeah.
As an older Peter
That's
Parker,
true.
maybe.
They could de-age to the point where they won't need actors in 30 years.
That's true,
They can
yeah.
literally bring back anybody.
Anybody, that's true. Well, maybe in 30 years, maybe that's the key. It's like,
Yeah.
because what do you think that maybe, I don't know, like, do you think they'll start sneaking in likeness rights things into people's contracts? Like, we can use you in 20 years if we want.
If they haven't already, then
Yeah,
yes.
right.
But I would say from everybody from Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
After Robert Downey Jr. probably has signed a thing that says we can just put your face in whatever.
Yeah, because you see, if it's a case of we're going to put Tom Holland in the future,
Yeah.
you don't want to see a Marvel versus DC where it's an old Spider-Man and an old
No.
Batman and an old Superman or what have you. You want the prime characters, the characters in their prime of their lives to be fighting each
That's
other.
exactly right. So,
So-
unless you do like a dimensional jump to a different cast, but they're the same
Yeah.
characters. But the other, like, it's different than, say, Star Wars because the Star Wars universe can move forward and you can introduce new characters and they
Yeah.
can be endearing. With comics, it seems to be that a lot of the time they go back to the status quo. Like, Tony
Yeah.
Stark will always be Iron Man.
Yes.
You know, I was going to say Henry Cavill will be Superman, but Clark Kent will always be Superman.
Yes, that's true.
In some form or another.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it is weird, to, like, what are they going to do? different younger actors playing different roles. There's going to be Son of Superman. Like if they kept the same actors, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of getting that generation's actors to do a different story.
Oh, that'd be weird. But I guess
that like in 30 years to be like, this is the new Superman, this is the new actor.
Yeah, right.
I'm saying, yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Good question.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It wasn't mine.
Good question.
Oni Baku.
I've
got another question here though.
I'm ready for it.
This is from Tristan Taylor on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Here we go. We've got 8 comic book movies coming in 2018. Which will be the best? Which will be the worst?
Oh, let's rank them right now.
Yeah, I got the list here. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
How do you want to do this?
Say one.
Black Panther.
Number 1.
New Mutants.
It has to be because it's...
Okay. New Mutants.
Hang on, these are being most.
Are you ranking them in the order they come out?
Yes. No. Are we ranking in terms of quality or in terms of money making? Let's just do one.
Let's say quality.
Let's say quality. Okay.
Yeah.
Black Panther.
Yeah,
so far, number 1.
Number 1. Okay. New Mutants.
That's moved to 2.
Yes. Avengers: Infinity War.
I'm moving that above New Mutants. I think it's going to be Black Panther, Avengers, New Mutants.
I think it's going to be better than Black Panther. Deadpool 2.
Oh, no, you're right. Okay, let's switch him. Okay.
You sure?
Yeah,
we don't have to agree, Mason, on everything.
No, you just made me think that it's...
Okay, well, because everybody's in it, even the Black Panther.
Yeah, and Black Panther might be... Again, it might be a Phase 1 movie. It looks great.
But you never
I hope
know.
it's going to... Do you think... Thus far, we haven't seen the Black Panther as being much of a character. You know what I mean?
Much of a character.
Not a much of a character.
Yeah,
you know
so
what I mean?
like... Well, he's only been in Civil War.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen him... We haven't seen any kind of big performance out of him in any of these trailers.
Well,
really.
no, but the thing is, he's a great actor, so it'll be fine. You know what I mean? Chadwick Boseman, he's all over it.
That's
but
true.
I think that's also what this movie is for, you know?
Yeah,
But
true.
I think, like Avengers 4, or Infinity War, Avengers 3, it could just be a standard kind of Age of Ultron situation.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that it's more the culmination of 10 years.
Yeah, I think they've learned their lesson. I think they've learned their lesson from Age of Ultron that we don't want to see. If they're just going to throw up 1,000 alien robots at us, that's going to be awful.
Yeah.
I think they're based on that weirdly angled, pirated, leaked cam footage that we saw of the Infinity War trailer.
Yeah.
I think they're going to...
It's hell for bloody leather,
It's hell for
mate.
leather, and they're gonna, they're doing bits where Thanos is pulling a moon out of the sky and throwing it at people and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be a ripper on time. So Avengers,
Yep.
Black Panther,
New Mutants. Deadpool 2.
Above New Mutants.
Agreed. Incredibles 2.
I'm gonna put that at 3.
I agree. I was also going to say 3. Does that count? It's animated?
Yeah,
sure,
totally.
Why not? Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm going to put...
4.
Yeah. No, I'm going to put it...
I think they've learned lessons from that as well.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah.
But,
I think, you know what I think has happened here is that we've had a whole bunch of bust-ups this year about directors who are trying to go in their own direction and then being turfed.
Yeah.
And I think it's maybe actually gone a bit the other way.
with your
and
Taika
they've-
Waititis and
Yeah,
whatnot,
I think they've gone, actually, if we keep saying, do the Marvel formula, do the DC formula, don't deviate from it, the producers are going to control everything.
Yeah.
I think people are going, these movies are kind of dull now.
Yeah.
Because any genre movie, if you just keep showing the same tropes, people get bored of them.
Yeah,
so
exactly, yeah.
I think they've maybe gone the other way and going, actually, give us a little more director vision on this.
Give us some hell for leather, je ne sais quoi. as they
That's
say.
right, hell for leather, je ne sais quoi.
That's it.
Yeah.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp. Okay, what about Venom? I'm going to say last.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to say second last.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything. So
I'm putting
so I
New
don't
Mutants
know.
very low.
Yeah.
But it's...
I like what they're doing, but
I like the
trailer's not
concept, but
great.
it doesn't seem great yet.
And that being said, we haven't seen the Venom trailer, so I don't know. Dark Phoenix movie.
Bottom. I'm putting
Bottom,
Dark Phoenix at the bottom.
as well. Animated Miles Morales movie.
I don't think... I'm putting that at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't
really
care.
Keen about, yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Lucky work, New Mutants. You
and
saved yourselves.
Finally, Aquaman.
Good. Oh,
I'm gonna roll the dice here.
Yes.
I think there's a very good chance that I'm wrong, but I like James Wan.
Yep.
And I think this could be the best.
He's Fast and Furious guy, right?
Yeah, but he also did Saw and he's in Insidious and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
I think that this could be number
The
one.
best one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna look like a real idiot if it's
Yeah,
no
you
good.
are. I'm gonna
But
put it.
This world that they're building, that they seem, and I like the casting,
Yep.
and yeah, like the stuff that I've seen, I'm really into. Yeah,
I'm gonna put it above. I'm gonna put it below Deadpool. Too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's our list.
Yeah.
We don't know what we said, but
If somebody could arrange that,
Yeah.
that would be perfect.
No, for me, it's Aquaman, Avengers, Infinity War. Those are the ones that I think will be the best.
Yeah, right.
The worst will probably be Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because it'll be like X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh, absolutely. They haven't. For some reason, they haven't learned their lesson.
I didn't even hate at the time, but the more
I
I think
hated it at
about
the
it, I'm
time.
more like, ugh.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We did it. That's the bloody show for this week, Mason. I hope you can wrap us up.
Oh,
in
let's
the
wrap
most
you up.
Fitting way possible.
Okay, let's see. You can, if you want to say hi to us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod@gmail and Facebook and Twitter and Bandcamp. I'm at Wikipedia Brown on Twitter.
I'm at Mr. Sunday Movies.
You can also go to @The Weekly Planet. That's our friend Rob Collins.
Yes.
He knows all the stuff, and he's a very helpful man.
Never
You can
forgets.
also go to Planet Broadcasting Great Mates, which is our Facebook group.
Yeah, have a good
on
old
Facebook.
chat.
Our friend Andrew Levin's put that together. It's got more than 1,000 members already. So
Oh, really? More than
1,001.
you say.
Once I checked, and it was 1,035 earlier.
Very
so
good,
that's
excellent.
very good.
And you're in there.
I'm in
yet
there.
To be in there.
You'll be there at some point. We're just, if you want to chat any Planet Broadcasting related topics, you want to talk about our show, you want to talk about other shows, you want to recommend other shows.
You want to put in a bloody.
There's
fan
a
art
thread
thing.
that's like, what's your favorite episodes of all the other podcasts? You want to put in a recommendation there?
The other thing is, there's a Halloween themed T-shirt on our T Public store,
Oh, really?
which is us in the Scooby Doo van.
Oh, yeah,
Which,
that one's great.
Ethan
Yeah,
Taylor put together. So that, I mean, it's Halloween's coming up, Mason.
that's right. You want to be prepared.
You want to
You want to be in your costume as a podcast
Prepared.
fan.
Prepared and a little bit scared.
As someone who loves podcasts so much. The most terrifying thing in the world. Someone who loves podcasts so much, they want to purchase the merchandise. They want to purchase the merch.
Purchase the merch, baby. I
yeah.
gotta stop saying baby. I think it's done. But
It's
I
one of
keep
those.
doing it.
Yeah, I say it all the time
don't
now.
even-
It's one of those things I started saying ironically, like
Yeah.
bro, and now I say it
say it all the
unironically.
time, yeah.
Yeah, pretty great.
Anything else?
Let's see. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies, chucking a buck. We've got a little extra commentary coming up soon. We
do, yeah.
Speaking of Bandcamp, we got.
Yeah.
We'll just say what it is?
Yes. It'll be Suicide
It's Suicide Squad. We
Yeah,
did it the
yeah.
other night.
That's right.
And I enjoed it more than I thought I would.
Yes.
In the sense that I didn't hate it.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
It was
So
good
there you
fun.
go. Yeah.
It's good. It's just fun to just hang out with your mates and.
I don't think that will be ready necessarily at the start of this week. It'll be either early next week because I got a bunch of stuff I got to do.
Okay, right.
And also we're seeing Thor Ragnarok tomorrow.
Oh.
Our episode. Well, I haven't got your ticket yet.
I was going to say you haven't got me a ticket yet.
Hopefully, we're both seeing Thor
They're gonna
Ragnarok.
come through.
So there'll be a review for that up really soon if you're just listening to this as it comes out. But we're not going to do Thor Ragnarok next week because it's not out everywhere in the world. We'll do it the week after.
Yeah,
but
nice.
next week I'm thinking Stranger Things is out on the 27th.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do some bloody Stranger Things
Stranger Things stuff. Yeah,
So
nice.
that'll be exciting.
Cool.
Cool.
Let's see. We've also got an Amazon affiliate link in the episode
Yep,
description.
yep.
Click through. Buy your regular Amazon stuff. You want to buy
Buy
something
Stranger
weird?
Things.
Buy Stranger Things. I bought a book the other day.
Did you? Did
Yeah.
you use our
Yes,
link?
I did. Yeah.
Good.
That's right. The perfect.
Give me the
crime.
money, Mason,
Oh,
now.
no.
I want the cash.
What else? Thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for
Yep.
the themes. Thank you to everybody who listens and tells somebody else about the show.
That's the
we
most
really
important
appreciate it.
thing, I think. Yeah.
Because we have otherwise it's just two idiots in a box talking about the movie Geostorm. Yeah, it was a good time with it.
No,
I'll be honest with you, I loved it.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, it was good. You're right.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, though. We
Thanks,
appreciate it.
guys.
See you next
Grab that
week.
gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye. This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. I mean, if you want, it's up to you.